I wanted to talk about moving abroad. One of the key things that I think people tend to forget is that traveling and living in a country are two separate things. You can go to Ghana and have a dirty December and feel like, you know, you're having the time of life, but is Ghana like that 365? No, it's not. You can go to Jamaica and have the greatest, I don't know, Rastafari experience on the beach and doing all those different things. But is that holistically what living in Jamaica is like? I guarantee you, it is not. So these are concepts that people need to understand. Living and traveling in a place are two totally different concepts. Two totally different concepts. With that being said, before you make the decision to move abroad, because a lot of people ask me, well, how did I do it? To be honest with you, I didn't do anything really special.
Wow.
I essentially saved money from the time that I made up my mind that I knew I wanted to be living abroad. It probably wasn't even 2 years. It was probably a year and some change. And at the time I was working at the airline, so I picked up extra shifts, saved money, all those different type of things. Nothing too crazy. I started obviously watching YouTube videos to get ideas about how expenses would probably look like, how rent would probably look like, and different things like that, so I could get a realistic picture. Join Facebook groups, Instagram groups, anything. I follow pages that talks about things like that, so that way you can start to get a good idea. And in addition to that, read books. Read fiction and non-fiction books from those countries. I swear by it, because you get to get a insider look at the mindset of people living in that country. You get to see how they process thought. Even throughout fiction, there's still sometimes a real undertone to it. So for example, for Ghana, and this one could be just for you traveling to Ghana, I would suggest a book called Homegoing. I read that book in 2 days. It was so addictive. The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born, different things like that. When I was also going to South Africa, I did the same thing. I read a lot of different books, from apartheid to all types of different subjects. And sometimes, you know, you don't have the time to sit and actually open the book and read. But what I would do is, when I would be going to my long shifts where I would earn this money to move abroad, what I would do is I would listen to the audiobook while I was driving. So the time wasn't wasted, you know. So those are a couple of easy concepts and stuff like that. Another thing that I'd suggest is go to like a restaurant. If you have a restaurant that has the local cuisine, like if you're in the Bronx, New York, you're gonna find Ghanaian cuisine. If it's Senegal, find Senegalese cuisine, and start to expose yourself to that, because you want to know what the palate is like. Because some people can't eat certain foods because they're too spicy and this and that and that. And for me, I think those are simple concepts, but you'd be surprised how many people have not tried the cuisine of the culture that they're going to until they get there, which is fine. But for some people, it could be too much. Too much for their bellies, and it just starts to mess with them. So I would say, you know, make sure you try the local cuisine, start to read local books, start to save money, and I also, what I like to do, I should probably put this on my TikTok, I like to follow Instagram pages. I like Instagram pages because, like, you see them in their natural habitat. Usually they don't even think like, oh, you know, a foreigner is in there. So you get to see how they converse and how they interpret certain types of pieces of information, you know. So I think that's a really good important one. And those are like some of the major ones. Yeah, essentially. And oh, I'll add this one. So I would highly suggest that you plan breaks. I don't care what country you're moving to. I don't care if it's Japan, I don't care if it's Italy, I don't care if it's a country within Africa like Uganda, Zimbabwe. This is what I'm gonna tell you. You don't know how it can become sensory overload for you, so you might want to plan breaks. So plan that airline ticket ahead of time, just so that you don't get too overwhelmed. That's pretty much essentially it. Otherwise than that, see you guys later. So another thing I think I would like to talk about in another video is understanding cultural dimensions. So like I say, I'm classically trained in international relations, so I understand how to deal with people from other cultures quite easily. And one of my favorite books talks about cross-cultural management and the 5 different dimensions of culture. So topics like time and, you know, individualist societies versus plural societies, all that comes into play. And I think that makes you a better traveler and a better expatriate. In the next video, I think we'll talk about that. But until then, see you guys soon. Bye.